All right, so this is my complete master plan to lucid dreaming. This is the guide I wish I had when I started lucid dreaming. And if you are interested in lucid dreaming, I want you to copy me because this is just going to be a ton of value in this video. So firstly, who am I to talk? So my name is James. I don't know if you've seen any other of my videos. I do videos on lucid dreaming and kind of how to consistently lucid dream and to do practices with it. So I have been lucid dreaming for a little over 3 years, and a lot of this time I have had a ton of success with it, but also for months and months on end. Sometimes I would get out of my habits, out of my practices, and it would cause my lucid dreams to suffer. I wouldn't even remember any dreams, let alone have a lucid dream that's going to change my life. So what I wanted to mean by that is that I've been through it all. I've had success with it. I've had times where I haven't felt motivated at all to continue lucid dreaming. So that's why I feel qualified. I have created a system so I'm able to consistently have life-changing lucid dreams. And if you copy this video, you should be able to as well. So let's just jump right into it. Why am I making this in the first place? When I was almost finishing high school, I first got into lucid dreaming and I was so excited by it. I looked up the videos online of how to lucid dream, but then very quickly I fell out of it. So see, I was doing the techniques and the reality checks and all that, and I had a couple lucid dreams, but then I quickly fell out of the practice because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And so I'm making this video because I almost want to talk to my past self and create a video for him that would keep him lucid dreaming and kind of how to guide the world of lucid dreaming because it's quite confusing. So why wasn't I getting the results I wanted? Well, there was 3 main things that kept making it so I would stop lucid dreaming. First of all, I had no reason why I want to lucid dream in the first place. As stupid as that sounds, most people, when they want to start lucid dreaming, they go and their main reason is to fly. And honestly, after you do it a couple times in a lucid dream, it gets boring. That's exactly what happened to me. So I had no real reason to keep lucid dreaming. I knew the potential. See, I knew that you could do anything in a lucid dream, but the limitations put on these online videos, they put on me, it was like, the best thing you could do was fly and go to another real life city, which is stupid. Secondly, it was confusing. So you don't know what makes it so you have a lucid dream or what doesn't when you start. And so I got really confused. And so this kind of made me stop. Like I didn't know if meditation was my favorite technique or if mild or wild or any of these reality checks would be the thing that made it so I was lucid. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was just my sleep was bad that night or if any other factor in the day affected my dreams, because I noticed that many random things affected if I would get a lucid dream, but I had no way of tracking it. So I just got confused and gave up. And lastly, I was inconsistent because of these. Inconsistent in the practices, inconsistent in the mindset, just inconsistent in everything. And that's no real foundation to excel and change your life through lucid dreaming. Okay, so first one, you need to find your why. You hear this a lot in self-improvement advice. It goes the same with lucid dreaming. Now, why would you lucid dream? He who has a why can bear almost any how. And some of the things you can do in a lucid dream that will make it actually worth it to continue lucid dreaming is you can conquer your real life fears. So let's say you have a fear of public speaking, or maybe, I used to have a fear of recording these videos, but you're able to become lucid within a dream and they're able to face these fears head on, which directly affect your subconscious mind. And this goes into the second one, which is reprogramming your mind. You're able to reprogram your subconscious mind directly one-to-one because you are in the dream world. And so this can make it so you can change the way how you think and how you act. Third, you're able to solve real world problems. So lucid dreaming, it might all be in your head, but you're able to change who you are to solve real world problems. Let's say you have a business problem, you're not getting enough clients. What a lot of smart lucid dreamers would do is they're like, okay, I'm not getting enough clients. I'm going to go into a lucid dream and ask my subconscious mind how to get more clients. Now, the reason you can't just think of this as effectively as going into a lucid dream is because your conscious mind only has limited database of knowledge that you've remembered. You can only access like 1 to 2% of your data you've collected through your life, through your conscious mind. I'm not sure if it's 1 to 2%, but you really don't have much access to all the things you've learned in your life. However, with your subconscious mind, it stores everything. So everything you've ever learned in your life is in your subconscious mind. And lucid dreaming is a direct portal pretty much to your subconscious mind. So you are able to ask it these questions like, how do I get more clients? And it might think of an answer of something you heard 20 years ago that like was the complete answer to this. You just forgot it in your conscious mind. So lucid dreaming allows you to solve real world problems. And lastly, I think you're able to discover your purpose because lucid dreaming, there's nothing around you that can judge you and nothing can hurt you. See, when you're in a dream world, you're almost in a safe playground to expand your discipline and your comfort zone. Let's say you see a tiger in real life, it might go and kill you. But if you go and see a tiger in a dream and you know that you're dreaming, you know it's not going to hurt you. So you're able to, conquer your fears, but you're able to discover your purpose. No one's going to judge you, and you can ask your subconscious mind that knows everything you have learned ever and create the best possible answer because of it. And if you don't know a reason, just start. You only need one really, but it's just something you can fall back on. So when you're practicing and you don't know why you're doing it, you wrote it down, okay, I'm lucid dreaming so I can discover my purpose, so I can discover my next new big business I want to make, so I can practice my favorite sport. You want to have some sort of reason why you're lucid dreaming. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. They can change over time, but I would recommend just starting with one. Now, number 2, lucid dreaming is confusing. So the concept of lucid dreaming might be really simple. All you have to do is are inside of a dream and you've practiced throughout the day and something makes it so your brain has a switch that makes you become aware that you're dreaming. So what actually happens is you would go and do something throughout the day. Maybe you see something that keeps popping up in your dreams and you're like, oh, let me go check if I'm dreaming. And then you're able to notice, or you just see that something's odd and you become aware. Becoming aware is actually just your prefrontal cortex getting activated in the REM sleep when you have a lucid dream. This allows you to have logical thinking. And once logical thinking's activated, you'll realize, hey, I'm dreaming. When you're in the practice of lucid dreaming, what to do next is actually really complicated. I don't feel like anyone talks about it online. It's just filled with unanswered questions. Like, what are the most important things for me to focus on to get the best results? There's tons of just random different answers online and no real solid, consistent sources of information. Let's say you're doing some new technique or practice or habit, and you wonder, was that habit effective, or was it just my sleep was better that night before? Maybe you had an hour extra of sleep, or maybe you felt more rested and had less sleep. Like, you don't actually know if that habit was the thing that made it so your lucid dream practicing was effective. It might have just been better sleep. It might not have been. You don't know. And like, which techniques work best for you? Does mild work better for you? Does wild work better for you? You would have to figure out each of these variables and compare it, excluding everything else in your life. So your sleep, when the last time you ate, how many reality checks you did in the day, how much meditating. There's just tons and tons of variables. And let's say you go out with your friends for a night, but you did more meditating in that night. Is that going to harm your lucid dreaming results, or is it going to make it better? Because you went out with your friends, you probably had worse sleep, but you did more meditating, so you're more aware. So you don't really know, is it actually going to harm my lucid dreaming results or is it going to make it better? So this means that systems work and guessing might. So I was really tired of this problem. So I created a lucid dreaming stats tracker. It uses 3 sources of information. So you have your dream journal information, habits and practices, and your sleep stats. And I will show you that right now. Okay, so this is my dream stats. And it comes in 5 sections. The main purpose of this is so that you're able to track every single different metric of lucid dreaming. And so you're able to pretty much get rid of the guesswork and have a system that you can reliably be accountable with and consistent with. First, you have your classic dream journal section here. And so you put your entry here, like let's say today I had a dream, and you do your first entry, just one. You just do your title. I like doing like 4 to 8 words. That really encapsulates it. And let's say you have multiple dreams. What you want to do is you want to write down each of the titles before you write down the descriptions of each dream. This is because dreams are very easy to forget. So once you have the title, you almost have an anchor point you can go back on for your mind to remember them. So you just really want to make sure that you have all the titles written down. And so I'll just make a dream example here. So let's say I was surfing and it was like a windy day in October. Surfing in October. Okay, so let's say you're with your family. So me and my family were surfing on this windy October day. There was a swan and I noticed a dream sign and ignored it. Okay, so that's the description. You're right. Were you lucid? You were not lucid. And you would write any emotions you had. So you were surfing in October, you were with your family, maybe you had some fun. You had fun. It was relaxing. It's a nice relaxing wind. And now you have your tags section. This section is pretty important because you're able to compare these tags later on in the dream signs tracker sheet. So you're with your family and you were surfing. It was also a windy day. There was a swan. And so yeah, those are your dream signs. You want to write down a lot of dream signs because the more you write down, the more patterns you'll notice in the dream signs tracker, and you'll have more consistent results when doing reality checks after dream signs and stuff. So you want to write down a lot of very important dream signs. This is like that person, place, or thing. And yeah, I know it really helps lucid dreaming when you know what to look for in a dream. And let's say you were like, you wanted to make a note that you noticed a dream sign. I noticed my dream sign of a, I'll say swan, but I ignored it. It's really important to leave notes here because let's say you want to go back and you keep noticing these dreams, let's say with the swans as an example, you can really make sure to do your reality checks when that happens. And you'll know for next time when you're in a dream, you're like, okay, I see a swan. You'll almost have some alarm bells going off in your head. Like, I'm probably in dreaming. I have to do a reality check now. Whenever you think about a swan during the day, whenever you think about any of these dream signs, you want to perform a reality check right after because once you're in a dream, you'll see it and you'll be like, okay, well, there's this one. Let me go and do my reality check now. All right, so that is the dream journal section. Now here's the data input section. This is my favorite section, I would say, because it just tracks literally everything. So I got to write more examples here. Pretty much, you have a ton of tracked things. You have your dreams recorded again. You have your lucid dreams, your reality checks, your meditation, and you also have different metrics. You have your hours of sleep. You have your technique. And when you went to bed, when you woke up, you have your deep sleep, your REM sleep, your readiness score, and your sleep efficiency. All of these will determine how rested you are, and this will determine how much focus you can put into lucid dreaming practicing. So what you might notice is after 30 days, you might notice that some common things, like the more REM sleep you have, the more dreams you're going to remember. But you might notice some weird things, like you might notice that your readiness score affects you more than your techniques. Just how ready you feel in the day affects you more than your mild or your wild technique. And so tracking this as much as you can is going to definitely get you the best results. And so I made an attendance percentage thing here. And you have your average excluding the missed days, and you have your average including the missed days. So let's say you missed your dream journal. You just forgot to write this morning. You'd write missed, it would go red, you wouldn't really like it, and you have your attendance percentage. Really, the best thing is to keep your attendance percentage as high as you can. If I write 0 here, you still tried to have a lucid dream, but it's not going to affect your attendance percentage because you attempted it. But like that's like if you did a technique and it just didn't work, you still tried to have a lucid dream. But let's say you didn't do a technique and you were really thinking of lucid dreaming that night, it's missed, your attendance percentage lowers, and that kind of sucks for you. So you really don't want to lower your attendance percentage as much as possible. And you want to have as much of this data here as you can. So let's make an example day so I can compare the two together. I'll do 2 stats so you can see. So let's say you did 2 dreams again. They missed this dream. They had 3 dreams, 1, 4, and 5. Okay. And then let's say you have an example of meditation. So the first day you did your 15, and this day you did 10. And a common one's like you forget to meditate, you're gonna have less dreams. And then like only 5 on here where you got 3 dreams, so you don't really know what happened exactly. Okay, so there's just some example data. And what you're gonna wanna do is go to your next section here. So this is from the 30th to the 5th, just keep that remembered, and you're doing your dreams recorded versus your meditation. So now I'm in the compare section, and as you can see, you have 2 drop downs here. So let's do our dreams recorded and meditation. And then you have your start date for these 2, which this was the 30th. And this end date was, where was it? This end date was the 5th. Okay, and you also have your dream signs tracker. So those tags we did in our dream journal section right here, they will be compared in the compare section with this next line of date ranges. So this was the 15th, 15th, and 21st. Let's just go and do the 15th, I think, of April. And then this is the 21st. Okay, so that's all good. So then with our dream signs tracker, we're able to see the frequency of each of our dream signs popping up. So you might notice that you don't have that much data, not much pops up, but you do notice that walking has 2 days instead of 1. So that might be something to notice at. Again, there wasn't that many dreams, so you're not going to notice that many correlations. But when I was doing this, I noticed that I had my friends in a lot of my dreams. I had my family in a lot of my dreams. And it was starting to be like almost 20% of my dreams, I would have one of these dream signs pop up. So you can pick all of these. You can pick, I would pick like the top 3 to perform a reality check whenever you notice them or think of them in your head. And this is going to help you get so many lucid dreams. So it's really important you want to really perform a reality check. So let's say you're this person. Next time when you do this and you're walking or you're thinking of walking, just perform a reality check just to see, because what you do in the day is going to affect your dreams. So let's say you're starting to reality check every time you think or walk. When you're in your dreams, every time you're thinking of walking or you're actually walking, you're going to perform that reality check, or you're going to at least think a little more. You're going to turn on your prefrontal cortex, and then you're going to become lucid in the dream, and that's a success. That's what we're going for. And lastly, with these 2 data inputs here, I didn't want to put all the full information in this. With these 2 data inputs, we're able to go to the graph output, and we're able to see easy correlations. So this is your dreams recorded versus your meditation from the 30th of March to the 5th of April. And see, the dreams recorded are blue and the meditation is red. So one thing you have to understand with this is that not every day it's going to be a 1-to-1 correlation between the 2. Some days meditation is going to drastically affect your dreams, or some days it's not. I'm just using meditation as an example. Again, it's any of those stats in that data input section. But what you want to really look for here is the trend lines. So you'll start to see the more dreams you record, the more meditation you did. So you really want to look at the input here. So what you're able to control with this is that, okay, I realize that more meditating I do, I record more dreams. And recording more dreams is a likely chance that I'm going to record more lucid dreams. So therefore, more meditation is going to equal more lucid dreams. And again, any of these stats, not just these 2, you record anything, you want to look for the trend lines. And that's what's going to help you get crazy results lucid dreaming and consistent results lucid dreaming. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about the dream stats, I am actually going to be doing free one-on-one coaching. So all you need to do is text me on my Instagram, the link's in the YouTube bio, and I will start you with a free one-on-one hour-long call, and I'll just be doing free coaching for a span of 2 months. So if you're interested at all, I'm not going to be doing this forever, but I would love to give as much value to you guys as possible. I simply want to make the best lucid dreaming tracker ever, and I would just love to help you guys out as much as possible. So just text me anything on Instagram, through the YouTube link in this video's bio and in my channel bio. We'll bring you straight to the Instagram. Just text me anything. We'll get on an hour-long call, and you will drastically improve your lucid dreaming. That sounds good. Just click that. All right, so the last problem is that life is constantly getting in the way when I try to lucid dream. So how do we go about fixing this? Without having a plan for life's inconsistencies, you will never get consistent results lucid dreaming. How can you have an inconsistent life without a plan, but yet not get those consistent results? It doesn't make sense. You can't not account for the inconsistencies of life, but still want the consistent results. That's like someone who wants a paycheck from a job, but doesn't want to put in the work to get that paycheck. So what do we do about this? What is needed for consistency in an inconsistent world? So we need a plan, and I think that there's 3 things you need to nail down in order to make it so you are successful with this. The first one is having flexible time parameters. So you want to make sure you can do this routine any time throughout the day pretty much. You don't want it so you have to do something when you're in the middle of your job or let's say you go with your family for a day. You don't want to make it so you have to do the routine right then and there, or else everything crumbles. That's just a bad plan waiting to fail. Secondly, you have to focus on what actually matters. This is the 80-20 principle. And with lucid dreaming, there is definitely this. You don't need to do 100 reality checks or anything like that. All you need to do is focus on one reality check. For dream journaling, you just need to write down the key elements of your dream, then go into the descriptions. You don't need to do any other weird techniques for that. With lucid dreaming techniques, just do one a night. You don't need to do 5 or whatever. Just focus on what actually matters, okay? And the last one is you need to have a flexible environment. Again, if you have a job, you shouldn't have to be able to do your technique when you're in the middle of your working shift, or if you're going out with your family. You have to be flexible with this to make it consistent, okay? And you have to be able to miss some sort of habits too on some days, but still be able to stick to it. So that's why I feel having like an attendance percentage like I had in Dream Stats is very important, because you're not aiming for perfect. Because once you aim for perfect and you eventually fail, because you can't do 20 things every day and always stay consistent without missing one day, like that's ridiculous. So what I would do instead is I would aim for a certain attendance percentage depending how difficult the task is. So let's say you want to do meditation. You want to have an attendance percentage of, let's say, 80%. So one in every 5 days, something can mess up and you won't meditate. That's okay. And, start with what you're comfortable with. If you're only comfortable with doing like 3 minutes of meditation or whatever a day, just start with 3, start with 1. It doesn't matter. But just try to stick to that attendance percentage and then slowly, progressively overload how much minutes you're doing of meditation or reality checks, for an example. Start by trying to do 2 reality checks a day and slowly build your way up to 20, 25, whatever works for you. But just the main thing is to try and keep that attendance percentage in the certain range. It could be 80%, it could be anything. Now that I've discussed about the problems, how does someone actually have a lucid dream? You need 2 things. You need the awareness that you might be dreaming, as obvious as this sounds. I feel like a lot of people don't get it. So pretty much in a dream, you need to wake up your conscious part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex. There's multiple ways of doing this. I'll show you in a second. And you also need to have the ability to remember the dream. So if you're watching this and you think you haven't had a lucid dream, you're probably wrong, to be honest. You probably have. The problem was you just didn't remember it. So it's very important that you remember these dreams, or else they're completely useless. So those are the only 2 actual things you need. You need to be able to wake up your prefrontal cortex from inside of a dream, and you need to be able to remember and write it down. That is it. You don't need to do anything else, just those 2. So now, what habits improve these conditions? Well, there are 3 main habits I feel that very much improve these conditions. So starting with dream journaling. Dream journaling trains your brain to remember dreams by writing them down. It also makes the act of remembering your dreams more important to your subconscious mind. So yes, you can just write down your dreams and you'll have success. But a lot of it is making sure that when you do it, like every day in the morning, you write down your dreams, your brain is very quickly going to remember that, okay, this is actually very important, writing dreams. So therefore, I'm going to put more focused energy into remembering dreams and remembering details about them. So dream journaling consistently, even if you don't have a dream. Let's say you tried to remember a dream last night, but you couldn't, okay? One thing that's a very smart technique is just writing down the last thought you had before going to sleep. This is just training your brain to put focus onto remembering those dreams, and you'll have so much success if you write down anything the next day, even if you didn't remember a dream, okay? And the next thing, meditation. So meditation helps focus your brain by limiting distractions, and this helps improve your awareness and remember more dreams. So let's say you're in a dream and you can't really think of anything. You are completely not aware of anything going around you. This is probably because your brain has not been trained to focus. When you meditate, you train your brain to eliminate distractions, and you also train it to notice things. So let's say before you bed, you kept thinking, okay, I'm gonna go and notice this dream sign in my next dream. And when you practice your meditation, you're going to have a better time sticking to that thought, because meditation, all it is just the removal of distractions from affecting your mind and what your thought process was. So when you're meditating, like I do breath meditation, what you want to do is you want to simply just breathe in and out through your nose, focus on the breath. Once a thought pops up, you simply just want to notice that as soon as you can and then go back to the meditation. You just repeat that until the timer's over, until you feel that you've done enough meditation. But meditation is a secret hack or something for lucid dreaming because it is just so good. Okay. If you have been lucid dreaming for a while and you just want a boost, something that's going to make it 100 times easier to get those consistent results, start with meditating. It's amazing, trust me. And it will also help you with every other part of your life because you'll have more focus. Speaking of focus, intention settings. So intention setting is the best way to prepare your mind to lucid dream. It helps improve your dream recall, and it also majorly improves your awareness to notice if you're dreaming. So it's almost like putting that initial thought into your brain before, the meditation helps it out and stuff. So something like intention setting could be like, I intend to write down my dreams as soon as I can when I wake up. You just repeat this to yourself before going to sleep. Your brain will almost be conditioned to try to remember your dreams. And you can do this with anything. You can do it with lucid dreaming. You can do it with, I intend to perform a reality check when I wake up. If you have a problem with false awakening, so when you're in your dream, you wake up, but you're still actually dreaming. It just looks like everything's real. Maybe that's your problem. So you would intend to perform a reality check whenever you're in your room next, so when you wake up. So intention setting is absolutely amazing. Great spot to start with lucid dreaming. Paired with dream journaling. If you just want the shortest lucid dreaming technique, just do intention setting and dream journaling. But when you're in a dream, you have to ask yourself, how do you know if you're dreaming? So you can have suspicions, maybe you see your dream sign or not, but maybe your dream sign is something that's just normal in regular life. How do you actually know that you're dreaming? A reality check is an action or method that behaves different in dreams than when you're awake. What my favorite technique for this is, I've tried a couple. My favorite is the nose plug technique because it's not failed once in a lucid dream yet. And so what you do, you just plug your nose in the daytime, you pinch it so you can't breathe through it, and you just try to. You try to focus on it, you can ask yourself in your head, am I dreaming, am I dreaming, am I dreaming when you do it? So you'd be like, you pinch, but you ask yourself in your head if you're dreaming. And when you're awake, obviously you're not going to be able to breathe through your nose. But when you are in a dream, you actually can. The reason for this, it's not random or anything, is that your conscious mind isn't activated, right? So some things you won't realize you're doing affect other things. So with this nose plug technique, you are breathing automatic throughout the day through your nose without even thinking about it. And you do the same thing in your dream. But the thing is, your conscious mind is turned off. Your prefrontal cortex isn't activated. So it doesn't understand that when you pinch your nose, you shouldn't be able to breathe through it in a dream. It just doesn't. And so with that, what you can do is you can perform these throughout the day, these reality checks, and they will eventually start to show up in your dreams. So here, I'll move this so you guys can see that, but they'll start to show up in your dreams. So let's say you start with 5 reality checks a day, that's an okay amount, and then you work your way up to 20. eventually these reality checks will start popping up in your dreams. And if you do them correctly and you actually put the thought behind it, like, okay, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Really start to question it. You might be like, you might just have tons of lucid dreams. This happened to me. Like, I started doing a ton of reality checks throughout the day, and then like a month later they start popping up in my dreams. And like, let's say I went for no reality checking for 6 months. If I built that initial habit, I swear it still sometimes works. Like, I will just be in a dream and I'll just perform a reality check for no reason, and then I'll have an awesome lucid dream the next day. And the crazy thing is about this is that when I'm out of practice, I hope to not be out of practice. This is pretty much this whole video and telling how you guys can consistently lucid dream. But when I'm out of practice, like, that includes all the times I had lucid dreams. I just didn't write them down. I didn't dream journal them. But yeah, I still remembered those. So reality checking throughout the day is absolutely amazing. Amazing, it's a technique. It's awesome. Pair that with meditation and intention setting, you're gonna get a lot of lucid dreams. All right, so now you guys understand everything and the problems have been solved of what makes it so people stop lucid dreaming. Here is my master plan. With taking those into account, we're going to start with the morning. So as soon as I wake up, I'm going to dream journal with a voice to text app. So I do have my dream stats where I like to write down all of the dreams, but it's not as fast to get on the app when you need that quick speed to write down your dreams, because most people remember a dream for the first minute they're awake, but they haven't trained themselves to write it down, so they quickly end up forgetting what it was all about. So you want it to be very fast. I just have a speech to text button on my phone, so I just go on the home screen, I tap it, and then I can start talking, and I'll just put that into like a Google Doc for now, or maybe just directly into my dream stats. But with this, I give each dream a title before going into key elements like dream characters, places, emotions, or any dream signs, anything that's only possible in a dream. So with that, you want to, I already talked about this at the dream sign section, but you want to start with titles, then your key elements, then the descriptions of each dream. So you remember 4 dreams, you just want to write down like a 4 to 8 word title for each of them. And then you go into the key elements, your dream signs. Actually, that might be smart. Just going into the title, then the dream signs, key elements, and then the rest of the whole description of them. You don't have to write down the entirety of the dream. Like, you don't need to write every single detail. Of course, more details help, but you really want to just write down the title and the key elements. The key elements are going to be what's important for you. Okay, next, I'm going to log my dream stat sheet. So I'm going to log every single lucid dreaming key factor. So dreams, reality checks, meditation. And then I'm also going to do my Aura Ring sleep stats. So I have an Aura Ring. You can use any sleeping device, but you don't need to track your sleep stats. The important ones I would recommend tracking, let's say if you don't have a sleep device, is when you woke up, when you went to bed, honestly, your last meal before you went to bed, because this drastically affects your sleep. And when I started noticing this, I like improved my sleep score like 10%, which is an absurd amount for just eating earlier in the day. And also, how much energy you felt like you had during the day, and also your total sleep time, of course. So those are a lot of the things you would want to track in your dream stat sheet. You can do this later in the day if you want. I personally do. I track everything except for my reality checks, meditation, and technique. And I track those in the nighttime because it's just easier to, it's easier just to write it at the end of the day when I have all the stats going. So I do it at the nighttime. Throughout the day, I make this as easy as possible and as least, again, throughout the day, I make this as flexible as possible. So I'll perform multiple reality checks, like 10 to 20, maybe even 30. And I might do a meditation session sometime in the morning, but preferably at night because it really helps you remember those dreams like I was talking about earlier, and also help you notice dream signs. But yeah, so I did purposely leave anything hard out to do during the day because if something inconsistent happens, you'll still be able to practice, okay? So then when you're preparing for sleep, I'll probably do the meditating like I was talking about, but usually I take a melatonin pill. This just helps me fall asleep faster. But what I really noticed helped me was having red glasses, because red glasses remove all the blue light. Blue light is a chemical that makes it so you stay awake. Literally, the sun produces blue light from in nature, so that's why you're awake when the sun is out. And when all the lights are out in your house and it's nighttime, you'll fall asleep very quickly. It's just you want to have red glasses so you're still able to watch your phone and your screen and your lights. They're like $10. They're very good. I also then will set my alarm. So I'll probably do a awakening alarm. What that is just a gradual alarm. So we'll start very quietly and we'll have like a little bit of brightness. And then by the end of it, it will be loud and it will also be like very bright. So it hopefully wakes up my brain a little more by like helping it with the circadian rhythm. And I also am going to put on my O-ring before I go to sleep so I can collect all my sleep stats. And when I go to sleep, I'm going to start by performing a lucid dreaming technique to put my mind in the right headspace to notice any signs I could be dreaming. So to do this, I'm either going to repeat like a phrase in my mind, something like, I intend to lucid dream tonight. I intend to write down my dreams as soon as I wake up, something like that. Or visualize becoming lucid in the dream that I had the night before. So let's say I had 2 dreams the night before. I can visualize those in my head, and instead of just going with the dream, I can find like some sort of dream sign that was in that, and I can perform a reality check and then just visualize becoming lucid and doing whatever I want. This will just train your brain again. It will set an intention again in your brain to try to become lucid. So yeah, that is my complete current master plan. If you guys are new to lucid dreaming, definitely take some principles out of that. Definitely like look at what I have for my my start of my day and stuff, what I'm doing. I definitely recommend just following the basics here. So dream journal when you wake up, make it easy to do that. Start with the titles, the elements, and then go into the details. Log all of your stats into any sort of sheet. And throughout the day, you want to perform your reality checks and meditation and just really question if you're dreaming. Before you go to sleep, you want to try and calming down your brain and put it in the condition to set an intention. So it'd be like meditating's great here, and removing all the harsh lights so you can fall asleep real fast. And then when you're going to sleep, try and set just the most amount of intention into your brain to remember your dreams to start. And once you're remembering consistent dreams, then you want to start with lucid dreams. And then once you're really good at this, you can set the intention of like, what do I want to do in my lucid dream? So like you probably are going to become lucid once you're good enough at this in that night. So you can set like, I intend to fly when I become lucid in my dream. I intend to create a portal when I become lucid in my dream. I intend to face this fear when I become lucid, etc. But yeah, that's the video. Hope you got some value from it. And yeah, see ya.